Welcome back, everybody. We're going to continue our lessons today on resumes. I'm going to share a quick 4-minute video about how to write a resume when you have no experience. So we'll start off with this.
When joining the workforce or changing a career path to have little or no experience in the job you want, and this can make it especially difficult to write a resume. Even if you have never had a formal job, you can still reflect in your resume on any life experiences you may have had. It is important to make sure your resume is creative, it is different, it reflects you, and it stands out to employers. Here's how to do just that. There are many ways to structure your resume. Have a think about what your layout will be like to make it stand out. Remember, the key is to keep it simple. Good fonts to use are Times New Roman or Arial, with the size set to 11. Headings should be bold, because it's easier to read and stands out. And avoid using too much colour, as it draws attention away from the information, which is the most important part. Employers want to know what you can bring to their business. The summary statement is your resume's elevator pitch. It should tell employers who you are, what you want from the job, and what you can offer to the organisation or business. This should all sit at the top of your resume and be 2 or 3 sentences in length. Here is an example.
I have a background in office management and have proven interpersonal and communication skills. I'm good at working in a team in a fast-paced environment. I am seeking the opportunity to use these skills as the office assistant at your company.
A good summary statement will clearly sum up what you are like professionally and introduce you to a prospective employer. It's the first thing a potential employer will see on your resume, so make sure your summary statement is strong. Employers love it when you include that you have skills to do certain tasks. So, brainstorm. Think about the times you've applied transferable skills to your everyday life. Do you meet deadlines for projects at school? This is an example that you were dedicated and motivated. Are there any times in your life when you created a to-do list to accomplish something? This is an example that you are organised and prioritise your tasks and requirements. Other skills you may be able to include are communication skills, listening and writing skills, people skills, compassion, confidence, and motivation. So, what sets you apart from others? Why are you awesome? Have you taken part in any extracurricular activities? Perhaps you played soccer and helped your team score goals, or you're in a netball team that won a grand final. These are great examples of times when you've worked well in a team. If you're currently at school or have recently finished studying, use this to think of some more transferable skills which you can include in your resume. Even if you are still in high school, you can think about the classes you have chosen to study. Why did you choose them? And what have you learned from them?
You saw before lunch with Tasha's lesson. So I'm going to move on ahead. I would like us now, we're going to look at some action words. This was all in a document where it was all a little smaller. I wanted you to be able to see these and look through them. Everybody has been honing their communication skills since day one. So rather than to just say that you told something or you said something as far as your skills, these are some that show more action, maybe emphasize a little bit more the message that you want to get across to your employer. Notice that in this case, they have put the verbs in past tense. This means that's how you would list it on your resume if you were talking about a job that you had in the past. If you are talking about communication skills you use in a current job, you would want to put these, of course, in present tense, because you want that tense fluidity throughout your resume. So if it is a job you are still doing where you are, say you are still in customer service at a store, you would, instead of saying addressed customer concerns, you would say address customers' concerns, because you still are doing that in your present job. So look through this list if you would. Take a minute, jot down one or two that you can see yourself using in your resume that you would be comfortable using in your spoken communication as well, but that you would find, because by saying collaborated is different than just saying was on a team, okay, was on a team with others. You can say collaborated is more of an action. It shows that it's an active word rather than a passive. So you want to choose through these. I'll go ahead and read through them. As you are looking through them, jot them down. You could jot them down in the chat. Or if you have a piece of paper and pencil and you want to keep them that way, that is fine, because I know the chat moves quickly. So for your communication skills, there's addressed, arranged, authored, co-authored, collaborated. I like the word collaborated because it shows that you are working together with others. Corresponded usually indicates that you have communicated in writing. Developed, directed, drafted, enlisted. So instead of just simply saying asked for help from others or sought volunteers, by saying the word enlisted volunteers, it shows more of an active rather than passive, and it also shows that you were successful in enlisting them rather than just looked for volunteers. Okay, formulated, influenced, interpreted, lectured, mediated, moderated, negotiated. That's great. That's a great word to use because, again, shows problem solving, shows your ability to work with people in a positive manner. Persuaded, promoted. This is excellent especially if you're in any type of sales position where you are wanting to sell the product of your company. It's one thing to just tell people where an item is, rather than if you were to say promoted an item. Promote items by offering clear directions. Proposed, publicized, recruited, spoke, translated, wrote. And of course, again, if it's present tense, you would not put I wrote grants for, you would say I write grants, or I write the schedule for others, okay? These are your helping skills. Again, something that you've known about and have been doing since a young age, where you're assisting others, you may be guiding others. So these are all words that you could use instead of just saying, I told the play group where to go. You could say that you facilitated the play group. That means inherent in that you've planned it, you've mapped it out, you've assisted with people getting there, and you've thought through it. So that's more than just saying, I put together a play group. Facilitated would be where you would use that word. So I'll list through these again. Choose one or two. You can put them in the chat. Words that you would use in a resume. Think about your past experiences. And these are going to help you when we go to the actual resume writing exercise. So in the helping skills, assessed, assisted, clarified, coached, counseled, demonstrated. And again, if this is a current job, you would say demonstrate, not demonstrated. So you might say demonstrate proper use of item or product, okay? Diagnosed, educated, facilitated, that we had talked on before, familiarized, And that's a great one, especially if you perhaps are at a reception desk, maybe taking people on a tour of a facility. So you could say, not that you showed new people around, you could say familiarize clients with the services offered. Guided, inspired, motivated, participated, provided, referred, rehabilitated, reinforced, represented, supported, taught, trained, verified. All excellent action words. They're not passive words that you use. So if you were just instead of just putting was on a committee, again, whenever you use words like was, it indicates a passive. Whereas if you are on a committee, you can say represented my team on a committee. Okay. Creative skills, again, these are transferable skills that you have, whether it's in a volunteer position, whether it's something that you did as part of a school project, or if it was actually a paid position. These are words that you could use to beef up that resume. Okay, make it stand out. You can use the words, and again, the word acted quickly to solve customer problems. Okay, so it's showing again that you are active rather than passive. Conceptualized, created, customized, designed, developed. Okay, and the word developed I like because that means you took it from the very beginning stages. You were the first to start something. So if you were the one who put together, maybe it was the plan for a group that was getting together, whether it's even a book club, something that you started, you developed the plan for that. So it shows initiation of something and your initiative. Directed, established, fashioned, illustrated, instituted, integrated, performed, planned, proved, revised, revitalized, set up, shaped, streamlined, structured, tabulated, validated. Okay? You can take a minute, look through these. You can always put in the chat if you are not sure of the definition of one or two of the words, or if you would want to just take the time and simply Google it, that's fine. Again, you probably want to choose words that you're going to be comfortable using in conversation. Words like streamlined are very attractive to employers. Remember that you may be wanting to look at that job description of the job you're applying for, pull out a few of those key words that you see in that job description and put them into your resume. Oftentimes an employer will use a keyword search, and all of the resumes that have that keyword they're looking for will be set into one section, so that those are the ones they're going to review, because there they have people who have had experience where they have streamlined some type of process to make it more efficient. And so if that's in the job description, you might want to use that in your resume. Okay, this is a way to, again, you want to, I think Tosh might have said, you season it, you get your resume so it reflects you, your personality, and stands out. These might be stronger verbs that you could use for some of your accomplishments. Okay, you didn't just say got a certificate. Okay, you could say instead that you attained a certification in something. If you were able to letter in a sport, let's say you were recognized even in marching band perhaps, as an outstanding member of a team, you can say you were you achieved that recognition. All of these are good words to use when you are talking about something that you accomplished. Another thing that will stand out is if you can use any numbers, you could say attained 100% customer satisfaction. Oftentimes you might hear as you're checking out, perhaps the person handing you the receipt will say, there's an 800 number on the bottom of that receipt. My name is Patty. If you think you've got excellent service today, please fill out that survey, and there might be some little caveat for the person filling out the survey, whether it's a little coupon, it's a little 50% off your next purchase, something like that. But if you get feedback from that, you can definitely use that in your resume. Okay, you could say doubled the sales made from the previous 3 months. These are always good. Increased productivity. Okay, these are things that, again, if you see them in the job description of things that they are looking for, put those into your resume so they will be found by that keyword search that the employer might use. Okay, checking the time. We're going to keep moving ahead. Okay. Okay. There are many different types of resume builders that are out there. Okay, there's Resume Genius, there's some on the Ohio Means job sites that you can even, I think all of you, or hopefully all of you, have or thought about registering and having an account with Ohio Means Jobs. It's free, it's simple to do, and that way, as you prepare resumes, you can store them there in your own account and pull up that resume and adapt it to the different jobs that you're applying for, depending on what the job description is asking for. Okay, this one is called My Perfect Resume. It's one that I'm familiar with, so I thought I would use it today. And I wanted to show you how you could use this still without having actually to sign up or pay for services. Since you want to submit your resume as a PDF anyway, this is a fine site to use to do that. Let me enlarge the screen a little bit. I also like the fact that in this one, although I know Taja had said there is no such thing as a perfect resume, that marketing scheme of calling it myperfectresume.com worked for me. So I'm going to show you that one thing I liked about it is that it's good for people, young people starting out, just trying to gain that work experience. If you have no work experience, you can select this. If you've worked for less than 3 years, which might likely be the case for high school students or those just out of high school, you can check that as well. So definitely you can choose no experience and use like in the video, how it talked about experiences that you have had either in volunteering or in your educational life, your educational world of projects that you have done, teams that you have led that way, your extracurriculars. You can definitely choose the no experience. I'm going to go ahead and check less than 3 years. Then it asks the question, are you a student? And many of you on here are a student. If not, of course, click no. But I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And then what it's going to do is it's going to show you example templates that you can use. What you want to look for again is simplicity. You want to find something that is easy to read. Maybe it can reflect you. Like for instance, if I were to select this template and I'm going to create it, I'm going to go back so you can see it to preview it. You can see that coming up when you do have all of your information put in, you are able to change the colors to the color that you would like to use on this resume. So that's kind of a nice thing. Know that that is something coming up. So if you didn't like this green color, just know that when you go about putting it all together, you will select the color. And again, if you want to just go basic gray, that makes it easier for copies when your employer's making copies. You don't have to go all out. If you wanted to, depending on the position, maybe if you are going into applying for a cosmetology position, you might want to add a little bit of color to that, or something that is requiring a little bit more of marketing to it. You might want to add a color that means something to you or you think is appealing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select this template. We are creating a new one. If you already have a resume, you can always do that, but let's go ahead as we are creating a new resume. And this is where you're going to be entering your information. So I'm going to go ahead and do this as me. So I will be putting in my information, first and last name. I'm going to go ahead and just leave that in there. That was already in there. I'm not sure why. Maybe from a previous participant. I'll put in a phone number and an email address. Notice that it doesn't give the street address. Remember how Tasha said you don't have to put specific street address. Just a simple way for them to contact you, phone number, email. Like she said, they're not going to probably send you a snail mail. They're not going to come to your house. So if you have a phone number, preferably a mobile phone, where you might be able to even receive text messaging, because they might have that later on as your preferred, for you to indicate your preferred mode of communication. Then after that basic contact, we're going to get to work on your education information. So I'm going to click on next. Many of you, again, are going to be putting in high school. Many of you are still in high school. If you are not in high school, you would put your most current school first. So let's say you're at Cuyahoga Community College, you would put that first. They would then assume you're going to add more information and add your high school later. So put the school that you're in most recently, okay? I'm going to go ahead and say that I am still in the high school. Ooh, look at all of these schools popping up here. Go ahead and choose Highland High School, Medina. Degree, you'll see there, the high school diploma is right there. If you are in a high school equivalency program, like you could put JOG right here, Jobs for Ohio's Graduates. You could put Akron, Ohio, or wherever your location is. And then you could say GED or whatever you are going for. Or you could simply list the high school that you are getting your degree from. If you have a field of study, let's say that you are at Portage Lakes Career Center. Maybe you are studying in the health fields, or maybe you are automotive fields. You can put that. If it's not anything that you've selected yet, you can leave that blank, and that is fine. You can put your graduation date. If you haven't yet graduated, you can put the year that you expect to graduate. So let's say it's next spring is when you expect to graduate. You'll put that in. So it puts, then it'll say high school diploma, expected date, and then your high school city state. Okay. If you were adding another section and you wanted to add that you are at a career center, vocational school, you could add that into your description. Okay, now we're going to go fill out some of the work history. Okay, this is where you would put your information. Sometimes your title is actually a specific, like cashier. Sometimes, and especially in food services and grocery stores, it might be simply a team member. Okay, then you could put sales, you could put team member, food service, team member sales, or you could simply leave it as team member. I'm going to go ahead and put team member. I'm going to put Giant Eagle. Okay, and I will put Akron, Ohio. Let's say that this is a position that I started in May after school let out, and I am currently working there. So I will save that. Since I am currently working there, remember, I am going to want to use verbs that are present tense, okay? What I like about this My Perfect Resume, it gives you ideas of sort of where to start. Here I am, I'm a team member at Giant Eagle. What are some things that I could be putting into this? Now I'm thinking, okay, well, team member means a lot of different things to a lot of different businesses. This time, since I know I am a cashier, but They train me in a way that I can both be a cashier as well as when things are slow, I am doing other things. So I'm going to start with this. See it, even with cashier, they're saying restocked organized merchandise in front lanes, helped customers complete purchases, locate items, join reward programs. Okay, that I think is really good, and I know that they offer that at Giant Eagle. And edit what's put in. So I'm going to put help customers, not helped. Help customers complete purchases, locate items, and join reward programs. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put, instead of answered questions, since I'm still there, I'll put answer questions about store policies and customer concerns. This is something let's say that you saw in the job description, they want people who are able to work flexible schedules. And if that is something you're doing in your current position, because you want as many hours as you can get, you can put work flexible schedule and extra shifts to meet business needs. Okay, so that's an idea. This is why I like this particular resume building site, because it does give you all of these things that you can add. Oh yeah, I do a lot of handling customer concerns and solving problems. Okay, I might not be in the team manager or team lead position, but I work closely with that shift managers. So I'm going to put work closely with shift manager. And then I'm realizing, oh gosh, here, look at, I have work 2 times in a row. So instead of work closely with, I'm going to go ahead and use that one word I had on my list. Collaborate with shift manager to solve problems and handle customer concerns. You don't really want to list more than 2 or any more than 4. I think that would be as many as you'd want to list. I just wanted to take a chance to show you how you put present tense in. You use some of the words that you have pulled from our action word lists, and you're also making sure you're not repeating the same verb in each of those. So I'm going to go on to next. Okay, if you had another position prior to starting this summer, you can add that. Not everybody has that. So you can add, and I'm going to suggest this for people who want to use maybe a position like maybe what you're in right now, where you're in the summer youth employment program. We're hoping some of you will want to join Jobs for Ohio's graduates within your high school, and we'll be talking more about that. But let's say you are a participant in a program like this. So you would put Jobs for Ohio's graduates. Oops, I just put that under job title. I meant to put that under employer. And I'm going to put that JOG participant. Okay, I'll put that in Akron. And I have used this with a number of my students suggest that they do this, because a lot of times I can promote my students to companies that I have a relationship with already. For instance, TJ Maxx is always eager to take our JOG participants because we can offer them a participant that we've been working with and can recommend. We have a participant that we could be available for the manager then to contact me if there is a concern before that concern becomes an issue, whether it's too many tardies to work or missed work dates, or maybe they're having trouble communicating with you because your phone is out. So they know that not only that are they getting someone I'm already working with, but I can help them in that communication process and some of that like job coaching ideas. Also, they know my participants can offer them like a work opportunities tax credit or other things that might be of interest to that business. So it's always a good idea if you're working as a JOG participant to go ahead and put that in. So let's say that you signed up this summer. I'll put that in, and then you could still say you're currently there. Even if you're already currently at another position, that Giant Eagle position might be part-time, you're still a participant, so you are still doing things with JOG, and this is where you can put, of course it's going to be difficult for them to understand what types of things to put in here. So I'm going to go ahead and, because I know what JOG does, if you are in this program similar to what we are doing right now. So you are learning I'm going to put, I'm going to put participate in leadership development, because in the fall, JOG will have their leadership development conference that you would then be invited to attend, participating in that. I'm going to use the word attend. That's one more that you are hearing and listening from others. Then I'm going to put participate in career development. It's my dogs. Participating in career development activities, because in the spring we have our CDC Career Development Conference, and that you might be interested in maybe even entering one of the events there where you are kind of competing and showing your skills, whether it be public speaking or your application techniques. So those are two things you can automatically put in there. This is another one, what we are doing actually right now. We are, now we're building our job seeking skills, our work readiness skills. So I'm gonna put build, and I'm gonna even go ahead and put transferable skills for the workplace. Okay, so again, don't have to put a lot. I'm using attend, participate, build, 3 different verbs. No red lines, so I know these are spelled correctly. I'm going to go on to next. Those were both things I am doing currently. Okay, adding another position. If there is nothing else that you have done, you can go ahead, and we're going to be adding, there's going to give us an opportunity, we can add in volunteer experience, extracurricular experience. So right now I'm going to just leave that. That is all for my work experience, meaning paid work experience or experience I'm currently involved in. Through JOG, it is, in a sense, a paid work experience, because there are incentives that you earn as you work towards your goals through JOG. To do right now is you're going to have, what skills do you want to highlight? Okay, so right here, you can go ahead and put, using adjectives, what kind of communication skills? Excellent communication skills as demonstrated by your success in your customer service position, okay? You can also put down that you are, I'm going to put efficient use of, and I'm going to go ahead and indicate cash register and other store technology, because there are other things you might use in that, whether it's the intercom or people use the walkie-talkies, other things that they are using with that. Okay, we are going to also put in here that you have, just by being a student right now, you have familiarity, and if you're very good in computers with your computer software and such, you can stress that. If you don't want to be put in a position where they say, oh, I see you're excellent at computer skills, and then they'll rattle off all these programs and you might not be familiar with them. So you can put in familiarity with basic computer skills. Okay, so that means you're familiar maybe with Microsoft Word, you're familiar with the Google platform, so it doesn't stretch it too much. If you, of course, if you have more, add that in. That is fine. Okay, so those are some skills you might want to highlight. Communication skills. If you use have used a cash register, that's excellent information to put. This is also a time for other skills. If you are bilingual, if you speak another language, this would be a good time to put that in there. So you would put fluent in, and then put whatever language it is that you have that fluency in. Right now I think I'm going to put just those in because I want to make sure some of the things I can touch on when we go to activities. The next thing, the summary. Remember, they talked about that being at the top. And here they have a lot of expert kind of ideas. Another thing that you can do is you can put in, you don't have to use the exact wording. Like I said, if you add it, remember you can always change, but just keep some of those. Like I like the word motivated, okay? But maybe you haven't had a job title for any big number of years. Maybe it's been under a year. So you might just want to put motivated individual looking to contribute to the success of a company by, let's see, looking to contribute to the success of a company by working independently with minimal supervision and pitch in to complete tasks. Pitching in means that you're willing to pitch in with the team, eager to join a team to learn and grow with the company. We're going to add extra sections. So let's say that we want to add additional information. Okay? You could even come up with your own. You could add your own. So actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put add your own, add your details here. Okay? So this, you're in high school, you can put any extracurricular activities that you have been involved in. You can, if it's a number of years, you can say lettered in whatever sport you played. Volleyball, and then you put that 3 years. Okay, whatever you have done, maybe you served on student council, 2 years, or however long that you had done it. This is what I always advised when I was working with middle school kids. Get in your freshman year and join these groups, because then by your upperclassmen years, you are then in leadership positions within those groups. Okay, so you can have all of that. Maybe you started your own group. Okay, so maybe you started a book club. Okay, whatever your extracurricular activities are. Okay, you can also then, it's going to still let you look through what you have. You can check through, see if you like the layout, and then again, you can change your template. Okay, so maybe I think, well, you know what, it looks a little too empty. I want to try this template. Okay, so all of your information is still in there. You just simply changed the template. So maybe you're not crazy about that either. You're going to leave from contemporary. You know what, I think I liked it where it was, or wait, let's check this one out. Okay, that's kind of nice too. Everything fits, the layout's good. I like that maybe there's more empty space here than I want. So maybe I'm going to go back to my original one, which was here. Right. So now you're at a point where, yeah, I'm happy with this. But if you go about wanting to print it, even wanting to download, here we go. You can name it. See if they let you do it as a Word doc. Download it. It's going to make you have an account. Okay, and remember, you don't necessarily want it to be a Word doc. When you submit them, you want them to be PDFs anyway. So I'm going to show you a quick trick where you can keep this. On your keyboard, I'm not sure how it works on your Chromebooks, but there's probably a button there that says print screen. It might just even put PRT screen, some kind of abbreviation. And you want to click on that print screen. Okay. You can then pull up a Word document. And I hope I'm still sharing here. Control V. That'll pop it into your Word document. And then you simply click on that. Go on to format. You're in Word right now. Okay. Trying to think of, I think it works similarly in your Chromebook, that you're going to do this still in Google Docs rather than Word. You still just click on it, click on format, click on it. You can crop your image. There's a little margin in there. Pull it up to the top. And then you still have your resume, because you're going to be submitting this online as a PDF anyway. go to File, Save As. I'm just going to put this on my, put on my desktop. Okay, and then that's what you have. You have your own PDF copy of your resume. It's on your desktop or wherever you had stored it in your documents, and that is what you are able to use. Cover letters that you have, oftentimes when you're applying for a position, you not only can download a resume, you can also download a cover letter to go with that. Talking about cover letters, there's a little real quick YouTube clip on this.
This is my resume, and here's its best friend, the one-page cover letter, aka its wingman. Together they work wonders, because what the cover letter does is set up the resume by highlighting what makes you a great fit for the job. It shows your personality with 3 concise paragraphs that should be readable in around 10 seconds or less. So, how do you write a cover letter? Let me walk you through one. Literally. Let's say you're applying for an engineer job. Don't forget your header. Date, name, address, contact info, all that jazz. Kick it off with a greeting to address the hiring manager. If you can, find out their name. If you can't, stick with this. The attention getter. The opening paragraph. Introduce yourself and enthusiastically tell the employer why you're applying for the job. Include why you're excited and how the job lines up with your career goals. Avoid sounding formulaic by adding keywords from the job posting. The middle paragraph. Dig into your most relevant experience and talk about the specific qualifications and skills that make you the perfect candidate. Oh, and feel free to pause and read when you need to. I've only got so long. Where was I? Right. Make connections between your previous accomplishments. Employers will likely have read your resume already, so avoid repeating the bullet points. Instead, deeply illustrate those highlights. To close the curtain, thank the employer. You can also make any clarifications, for example, any major gaps in employment history. Then, provide a complimentary close and signature that's friendly yet formal, followed by your name. Well, I think that's everything. Remember that the smallest moves are sometimes the smartest. Like and subscribe for more tips.
That is a link that you can use to sign up for the resume workshops at JOG. These are excellent workshops. You get one-on-one attention and can build that. Another idea is you can, if you've put together a resume and you want to get some feedback on it, email it to your leaders in our group. You would email it to myself, Carolyn, or Ben, or Rachel. And if you're watching this in another cohort, email your facilitators and have them look over your resume for you at that time. I also wanted to make sure that one thing in doing this is when you do then hopefully get called for that interview, a big part of standing out and being the one that is selected for the position is after the interview, you do want to send a thank you email and to really stand out, an actual typed or handwritten thank you note sent to your interviewer. In order to do this, you're going to know who interviewed you. So make sure that you are going to be sending that to the person you interviewed with, because when they ask you in the interview, are there any questions? Then you will simply be able to say, oh, can I have a copy of your business card? If they don't have a business card, ask if you could jot down their contact information, their email, their first and last name, and then you'll want to the address, and that should be easy enough for you to find. Hopefully now interviews are going to be done in person, so it'll be sent to where you are having the interview. Too many times I ask my participants how the interview went, and they're like, oh, it went great. Say, who did they interview with? And they might just say, some guy named Jason. They don't have the last name. They don't then have an email or a way to contact that person to appropriately thank them for the interview and keep them as the top candidate on that list. So make sure you are asking for that contact information in the interview. Okay, and I'm going to see if there's anything else that I still yet needed to add. Okay. I think that's going to do it. I'm hoping that you got a lot out of today. You feel comfortable. If you don't already have a resume, you'll feel comfortable designing one. Or if you have a resume, you might see ways from today's activities how you might want to update that resume. But I do appreciate all of you hanging on and sticking with us today. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thank you for being awesome and ready to put down all of your information, your experience onto paper, because as Ben had said in the beginning, you are promoting you. You want them to see you through this positive lens. And later, one of the topics we're going to be talking about is personal branding. I know that Miss Latoya from Fifth Third really talked about that well, saying that think of yourself as always being on an interview because you never know who is looking at you at any given moment. She says she goes out to eat in a restaurant. She's always looking for talent. She's noticing a young individual who might be their server, who might be somewhere else. So just know that you are always on an interview. Put your best foot forward because you're representing your brand as soon as you step out that door. So thank you again. Have a great afternoon, evening. We'll see you all tomorrow.